Hello, friends. I'm here at the church just for a little bit and wanted to send a quick video just asking a question for you to think about. We are in a time now that there's great relevance to a part of the biblical story called the Exile. It's this time when the southern kingdom of Israel, this is about 500 or so years before Jesus, but towards the end of the Old Testament story, where the Babylonians come in and they take over and they take all of the educated, skilled people back to Babylon. So this is in Iraq, modern day Iraq. And during that time, all of the wisest people from Jerusalem are in Babylon. And this is where you get the Daniel story, this is where you get the Esther story, this is where you get a bunch of the stories that happen outside of this place. And one of our favorite verses that we have cross-stitched in our houses somewhere is Jeremiah 29:11, which says, "I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you, to give you a hope and a future, and not to harm you." And we love that verse because it makes us feel like, hey, everything's happening for a reason. What we often miss is that towards the end, right after that verse, God is talking to the people in the exile, and he says, but part of that plan is for you to be in this exile for 70 years. And so stop waiting. I want you to enjoy where you are. I want you to build houses. I want you to get married. I want you to bless the people of this country, bless the people that you're around, the Babylonians, the people who kidnapped you. And so it becomes this really interesting part of the story that if we only look at that first part that says, I have a plan for you and it's not to do you any harm, then we miss the reality that a lot of life is kind of being in places that are not really the ideal of where we want, that we're working towards something else. And what God is saying in the midst of this is that while we're waiting for this time to be over, don't just wait. Enjoy this time. Build houses. Spend time with the people that you're around. Live where you are. This is not a pause on life. This is a season of life that is different, and it will always be something that will be part of our life. We won't just look back and say, hey, remember that one time when we couldn't leave the house for a while? We can actually make this period of weeks or months or however long it takes something that is positive, something that changes our lives, something in which we have the opportunity to reset a lot of our behaviors and a lot of the ways we interact with our family, a lot of the ways we interact with the people that we communicate with online and through our phones, the people that we have direct access to, even if we aren't connecting with them interpersonally, physically. And so even though we're isolated, we're separated from one another, but we're not separate from one another. And so what I would encourage you is the words of God, that we should reside where we are, spend time, as we are all kind of exiled from our regular life. Don't just see this as an interruption, see this as an opportunity. Give opportunity, give yourself space to be present with the people around you. Give yourself an opportunity to do something you haven't done. Read a book again for fun. Watch some movies that you haven't. Play some video games with your kids. Go for a walk around the neighborhood and social distance. Spend more time with your dog. Do all those things that you've been putting off that you just didn't have the time or the energy to do. Take some time to do those things. Do some of those things. You can't do everything. Don't feel bad about the fact that you have this big list that you can get through, because you won't be able to get through it. Just start taking one of them at a time and be present where you are. And also don't forget your neighbors. Don't forget the people that are around you. Give calls to the people that you haven't seen. If you're used to seeing people in church, call somebody up and say, hey, I usually shake your hand on Sunday. I've never really had a conversation with you longer than that, but I wanted to just call and say, I hope you're having a good day. That's fine. That's great. Reach out to people. Take time to reside where we are. Live into this space. God has given us this opportunity to see life at a different speed than what we usually do. So that's my word for the day. Think about that. If you have any thoughts about it, leave it below. If this is on Facebook, I don't know where this is. If it's on the website, just enjoy it and go to Facebook and maybe talk about it, or write it down in a bag and throw it out into the woods. Do something with it, but reside with this notion that God is using this time to give us an opportunity to see the world in a little different way, see ourselves in a different way, see the people around us in a different way. Okay, God bless you. Wash your hands, take care of each other, and let's get through this together. Thank you.